Hey booktube! My name is the Book Mage, welcome back to my channel. I figured it was about time to do a haul. I honestly thought I had way more to haul than this, but I'm beginning to fear that most of the books I have to haul are like all special editions, and I feel like I should probably do a whole separate haul. I feel like all of those I'm going to put into their own separate video. So these are just kind of like mostly bog standard books. And I think I will have already posted like my October TBR at some point, so you may have been spoiled for a few of the books in this haul, but otherwise, let me show you what I've been picking up recently. So, of course, the first book in my haul is Babel by R.F. Kuang. So this book is actually the newest release from the author of The Poppy War, and I have only read the first book in that series, but I did like it and I do intend to go on. I'm just like really slow. So this, I believe, is like an adult gothic dark academia. This is also the lovely sprayed special edition Waterstones. So yeah, this is the Waterstone special edition, and this really should be in my special editions haul, except for the fact that this is already going to be like on my October TBR and you're going to see it in my October vlogs, so I might as well just haul it now. It makes more sense to haul it now. So the tagline for this book is, "Every act of translation is always an act of betrayal." I feel like languages, words, etymology, translations, these are all things which are like very sort of like close to my own like personal interests. Anything that has anything to do with like words, languages, linguistics tends to be like extremely interesting for me, and I'm hoping that will help me power through the fact that this is dark academia and my brain hates anything to do with higher education. We will see how I get on with this one. Or, well, you will see how I get on with this one. Maybe I already know. The next book in my haul is, oh my god, one of the books that I was most excited for releasing this year, and that is The Cuckoo by Leo Carew. And this book is thick as anything, and you probably will have seen this if you keep up with my channel at all. This was in one of my vlogs where I read two of my most anticipated books for this year, which just happened to release like within a month of each other. So I've already read this, and I can tell you this only took me a couple days to read because it was fantastic. I'm not here to review it though. So this is the third book in the Under the Northern Sky series. This is the finale to the trilogy. The first book in this series is called The Wolf, and it's a very low fantasy that follows sort of like, it's almost like an alternate reality, like medieval style Britain. So basically everything above modern day Leeds is this wild untamed land inhabited by a race of people called the Anakim. They have like longer lifespans than humans, they're like a warrior type people, and right at the start of the book they're going to war with the Southerners, which is basically just the humans. And the main character is an Anakim called Roper, and he's the son of the Black Lord, which is like the leader of these people. Through some unfortunate circumstances, Roper is thrust into the position of the Black Lord well before his time. He's not trained, he's very young, he doesn't really have political allies yet. So the book is a lot of, there is like a lot of sort of like politicking and alliances, a lot of Roper sort of like vying for his own throne, while at the same time waging war against the Southerners, the humans, and it is told from a multi-perspective, so you get multiple characters from both sides of the story. And this has been one of my favourite fantasy series, just like ever. I have loved this. These books are so bingeable. You start and you cannot stop reading them. I honestly would really highly recommend The Wolf to anyone who has not picked it up yet. I loved it. If you like anything to do with like battle sequences, like it's like the warfare in this is pretty fantastic, and it's really hard to like pick a side to root for. Yeah, even knowing how this all ends, I really would say if you haven't, give The Wolf a go, because it's such an underrated series and I feel like I need to gush about it every single chance I get. This is my chance. So yeah, hauled this book, read this book, loved this book, give it a try. Following that, the other book I hauled, which was one of my most anticipated books for not even just this year, just like the near future, and that was Small Angels by Lauren Owen. So it starts out following a woman called Chloe as she and her fiance go back to her fiance's hometown, this very sort of small, rural, sort of like poorly connected little village, and they're going back there because they are about to host their wedding. They're getting married in like a week, and they've chosen the venue for the wedding as the church in the village. Chloe starts to notice that a lot of the locals don't really like to talk much about the church or the woods. There's sort of like this weird feeling like she thinks people are keeping secrets from her, but she as an outsider is very, very interested. Like her fiance just doesn't really want to say anything. She's kind of very interested in what's going on, and at the same time there are a few other perspectives. So you kind of get the feeling at the start of this book that maybe whatever was in the woodlands before is sort of coming back, waking up. There's signs that things are starting to happen again where they've been quiet for a long time. More than that I won't say. I will save that for my wrap up. The next book in my haul is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. So this, I believe, is the first book in an epic high fantasy Norse inspired series. I don't know much about the plot other than I think it follows 3 warriors, and there's something about like the old gods have like fallen, but maybe there is something stirring. I think war is on the horizon, and I mean the cover has a massive dragon, which is a massive draw for me. So I expect maybe, perhaps, there may be dragons in this book. I would like there to be dragons. I would like there to be at least one dragon. Please let there be a dragon. Thank you, actually, thank you. So yes, I haven't picked up John Gwynne's other series yet. I do own it. Again, I'm just real slow. But this is actually kind of short, and I think book 2 to this is already out. Okay, the next book in my haul is a very pretty one, and one that I pre-ordered like so far in advance. And it is The Word Horde by Hannah Vidine. Just like, look how like pretty and like shiny and just lovely this book is. It's like an illuminated medieval manuscript, and I love it. Except for this spider, because I have arachnophobia and I don't like spiders. Yeah, this is just a very cute little book, and I have followed the Word Horde's Twitter account for years. I love etymology is my thing, I swear. Like, I love words. I love etymology. Like, I talked about it a little bit with Babel, but like I am an etymological hoe. Like, I can't stress this enough. I would just love to sit and read about words all day, and I'm gonna do that. This is basically like a little compendium of, I think it's all old English words. I want to say it came out quite a while ago actually. It came out a couple of months ago, and I've had it sitting around, and you know. So yeah, if you were ever interested in like learning some Old English, I used to study Old English. Like, this didn't just come out of nowhere. Like, I did used to study Old English. I had to study Old English, Latin, Old Norse. I'm really bad at Old Norse. I don't know any Old Norse. Okay, I'm gonna put this gorgeous little tome here. Okay, next book in my haul is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. So I believe Victoria Aveyard wrote the Red Queen series. Oh, it does say that right at the top. It's not a series I've read. I did consider it because everyone on BookTube was like dying for this series when I first started. There was a chance I could have liked it, but I don't think me now would want to read that book. However, the cover of this is amazing. So again, I don't know very much about this book other than from what I recall from the synopsis, there's something about like, I think the main character is approached or attacked, don't know, by an assassin that basically reveals that the main character is like the last of their kind, or like last in a line, that has the power to save the world. So it sounds pretty sort of basic and standard, but the vibe of it, like the vibe of the cover, if the book is like the vibe of the cover, I think I will like it. I think it is YA. Just from some of like the text on the back, I'm getting that this might be like a group of multiple characters like all teaming together, maybe. I feel like this has potential. This, like, if it's kind of like a Six of Crows, like found family type thing, like getting the gang together sort of thing, I feel like maybe I could like it. Or honestly, even if they're all like against each other, I could like that too. Okay, so the next book in my haul is Daughter of Redwinter by Ed McDonald. I have read the first book in Ed McDonald's other series, the first book being Blackwing. I have not yet read Ravencry or Crowfall, but I really want to get to them because I remember really enjoying Blackwing and it was just really different. So yeah, I think this is a YA, and I think this was something that he'd written or started writing before Blackwing. I guess I've always been a little curious because I've seen like tweets about it, and it's one of those things where it's like I was gonna pick this up anyway because I like his other series, and this is like quite short. I don't know how exactly to feel about it because it's YA, and obviously his other series is adult and very grimdark. I don't really know what I'm gonna make of this, to be honest. I mainly did just pick this up because it's like an author buy. Okay, my next book is one that comes with a fucking annoying sticker on the front, but that is Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. I honestly did not even know this was coming out. I think it got recommended to me. This one is apparently signed by the author. I don't know where I got it from to get it signed, but like, sure, I guess. And this is the third book in the, is it Skyward series? Yes. So the first book, Skyward, I know follows a girl who wants to be a pilot, but her father, basically her father defected. He's sort of like this reviled figure because he like deserted, and so she tends to get a lot of flack for that because it's like, you're the daughter of the guy who deserted us. It's a sci-fi It's all set in space, it's YA, and I think it's about, I think her name is Spencer? But spelled in like a sci-fi way. I think it's about her like becoming a pilot or proving herself as a pilot that like she's worthy and not like her father or something, and there's probably some twists and turns and friends you make along the way and something else. I love the look of these books, to be honest, and I've only really heard good things about them. I feel like they'll probably be like very easy reads and bingeable when I eventually get to them. My issue is right now I'm trying to prioritize like a lot of bigger books, and a lot of it is just like adult fantasy and longer fantasy and things, but they are definitely books that I know that I will want to read, and I don't find them falling out of favour with me. A lot of YA, even YA that like I have, I think it's taken me so long to get to it that like I'm never going to read it because I think I'm no longer the same person that I was when I bought it, and so no longer the target audience. But with these, I feel like I'm going to like it. Like, I feel like I'm going to like it. It's Brandon Sanderson. I'm going to have to start double stacking. The next book in my haul, I kind of can't believe I'm saying this, to be honest. It is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. I thought the first book was called Crescent City of the House of something something series, but it's not. It's the other way around, and I genuinely thought the first book was called Crescent City. And I feel like it's changed. I feel like it changed when I wasn't looking. This, I believe, is a urban fantasy adult romance series. All things I don't like, to be honest. I don't like urban fantasy. Not really. And I don't like, look, all I'll say is I bought book one because a friend hyped me up into buying it. It's something about like a girl and they're looking into like, she gets paired up with this angel guy whose name I think is Hunt Athala? I've learned all this through osmosis or something. And so she and he are like looking into, I think it's like a string of murders or something. I think it's something like somebody that she knows is like a victim, and like it's something like, I don't know whether they're trying to clear her name or whether they think that she's next and they're trying to like solve this mystery, and there's probably like a lot of sex. So if I'm going to read book one at some point, I'll have book two on hand. I'm very skeptical about whether I will like this series or not, but if I do like it, because there is potential that I will like it, because a friend of mine keeps bugging me to read it, and like I trust her to not make me read something that she knows I will hate. So at least this way I have two books. This is also the Waterstones exclusive. The first book had like sprayed pages, this doesn't. I think it just has like a bonus chapter or a boner chapter, one or the other. Next in my haul is The Collarbound by Rebecca Zahavi. Funny story about this book, I'm actually giving this one away, this specific copy, because I didn't realise when I pre-ordered this, I didn't know that Goldsboro were going to release it as a special edition. So I will have it as a special edition. I'm hauling this one now because it's the one I have to hand, but I will be getting rid of this one because apparently somewhere in the box somewhere in my room, I have it in special edition. I didn't know, so I forgot I'd pre-ordered this, and so forgot to cancel it. The friend of mine who keeps telling me to read Crescent City is going to get a free copy of this book. So I don't know much about this book. Always. Other than, I remember hearing something about like a fortress full of mages, and I was getting like major like Dragon Age circle vibes, and I always need that in my life. So I think this has a lot to do with magic, and I know there's like a rebellion, and there's like, I think the main character is like maybe one of these rebels. The front does say bound by magic, marked by war, ready to fight. Seems like my vibes, to be honest. The back mentions something about the underworlds where the dead flew. Honestly, yeah, it's so short as well. It's not one that I knew much about, but I saw this on a list of like upcoming releases for this year. It just really seemed like something that I think I would really, really like. If it's the kind of vibe that I am assuming it is, then this has the potential to be a book that I will really, really like. So this is pretty high on like my like radar for like future reads. I might even have like plans for like a video, and I feel like this could fit in there. So this is one where you might end up getting some opinions from me sooner than some other books, which, considering my absences, is saying something. Okay, the next book in my haul is Rebel's Creed by Daniel Green. So this is an indie series being published by Daniel, who is also a booktuber. I think this is technically like the first book in the series, as the novella that I have already read of this series I think is just sort of like I'm guessing it's like a book zero, like a prequel, and like this is officially book one. I don't know how much to say about this, but the prequel, the novella, followed three sort of like, it's like a cop drama. So you have these three sort of like officers of the law that are investigating this really gruesome, grisly murder where all the members of this one family have been killed in quite a sort of grotesque fashion, like to really make a statement. And as they continue their investigations, they maybe start to sort of like snowball a little bit. They uncover a lot more than they initially really bargained for. Doing that is not exactly the best or the safest place to be. So I don't really want to say more than that because it's a very, very short book. And I'm guessing this sort of continues after that. I'm assuming it won't follow on directly, but I'm assuming that the events of the novella are sort of like part of like the history of like this world or whatever the situation is going to be at the start of this book. So I'm imagining that the characters that we meet and like the situation that at the beginning of this novel is probably going to refer a lot to the novella, which I do like that way of setting it up, of like giving you like a little taste of the world and a bit of history and then being like, okay, yeah, book one might mention that a bit, and then going into book one. So that's my assumption anyway. Okay, getting to my last few books. The next book in my haul, I don't think I've hauled this one, but like I've had it around a while, is The Hallowed Hunt by Lois McMaster Bujold. One of my favourite books I've just ever read is The Curse of Chalion, which is the first release in her World of the Five Gods series. That was honestly just, it's one of my favourite books of all time. I really love it. It's such like an understated fantasy. I don't know how to describe it, but like, so this book follows different characters in the same like universe. I don't know whether it's a prequel or a sequel, like I don't know whether it could even take place like concurrently. So I know the order of publication of these books. This is, I think, the third one published, which is why I do not know the synopsis because I still have not read the second book in the series, which I think is a direct sequel to the first book. They're also one of the few series that I actually like to collect in like beat up mass market paperback. I just like them in this edition. I don't know what it is. From that book onto an even smaller book, the next I have is Galatea by Madeline Miller. This is super short. This may be like the smallest book that I own, and I'm pretty sure this follows a sculptor who sculpts himself a woman and she comes to life, and while he thinks of her as his creation and therefore his possession, she obviously has like feelings and willpower. Again, really short. Madeline Miller known for doing sort of like modern retellings of like Greek classics and Greek myths. So she did Circe, which I have not yet read, but she did the Song of Achilles, which is again one of my favourite books. I gave that 5 stars. It's also like beautifully shiny. Me being an idiot, however, I did actually pre-order accidentally 2 copies of this book. I think I must have just had like 2 in the basket. Okay, so I'm down to the last 2 books in my haul, and if you've seen my October TBR, you know what these are already. The first book is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Firstly, I think there's another cover for this, and I think it's absolute ass. This is clearly the superior cover. It looks like an 80s like VHS tape. I love the aesthetic. It's so tacky, I love it. So this I think mainly follows 2 girls after they go skinny dipping one evening and one of them starts to act really strange and weird, and her best friend, the other girl, starts investigating what is up with her, and is she maybe, I guess, possessed? I'm assuming this is going to have like cheesy 80s teen horror movie type vibes, but like maybe with some modern twists because it is a modern book. I don't know, I just want tacky Halloween fun. I'm probably just not gonna be scared, really, so I might as well be there for the vibe. And I feel like a lot of like 80s horror is just kind of like a fun vibe. Yeah, this is one that I'm hoping to read more specifically around like actual Halloween. So this might be the last book I get to this month. And the last book in my haul, and I'm so glad I finally get to show this off because the aesthetic is everything I need. And that book is We Sold Our Souls, also by Grady Hendrix. Can we just admire this? I don't really think I talk about it on my channel, but I'm like a massive alternative music fan. Mainly, how would I describe this? Classic metal, thrash metal, a lot of new metal and like fantasy metal, just also a lot of like Nordic, Viking metal. I like metal. I like a lot of metal. This book seems very up my alley, and I've been getting very back into music. So before I get to the plot, this book aesthetically is like everything. On the back it says metal never retreats, metal never surrenders, metal never dies, and it comes with black pages. This is like the standard hardcover, this is not a special edition, and it's got demonic like rune writing. Look at the aesthetic, I love it. I'm thinking like, could I make a whole video of me decoding this? Oh, there's a little coffin. I'm guessing that's like a full stop. Oh wait, it's not even a cipher, it's just angular letters written backwards. Look, oh, I can read this perfectly in the viewfinder. It says up the tunnels and out the maze towards the daylight. Is this spoilers? Am I meant to be able to read this? Let me put the dust jacket back on so that I can just like not think about the last few seconds. And let's talk about this book. So I believe this book follows a woman who used to be part of a metal band in the 90s. They never really got successful or went anywhere, but since they disbanded, their ex like lead singer has been like super famous, really successful, and I think there's a bit of a mystery as to why. So I think the main character is like going back, and I'm assuming maybe getting back in touch with her bandmates to figure out like what exactly happened there. And from the title, I am assuming somebody sold their soul. I'm gonna have to deal with a book set in the modern day. Pray for me. So this one, yeah, this is also on my October spooky TBR. Okay, so these are all the books in my haul. But hold on, turns out I lied. I actually forgot about a haul, 5 books. I know it looks like 6, but I promise it's actually 5. How do you do that, honestly? I mean, my excuse for this is I thought 2 of them might have been special editions. They're not. And the 3 that are in the brown wrapping paper, I have a story about those. So I've tried to make it look as like consistent as possible. It is not the same day. It's been like 3 or 4 days since I filmed, so this haul is going to be all kinds of hectic, but it feels so weird to just restart my haul. I'm halfway through editing the other video, so I don't know how this is going to go, but I did not want to refilm the whole thing. I'm not doing it. So I guess the next book in my haul is Skyward Flight by Brandon Sanderson and Jancy Patterson. I think this is a collection of stories from within the Skyward universe, since I've been collecting the others in hardcover, and I also just hauled what I think was book 3. I really should have done these back to back, but what can you do? This was one that when it arrived, because of the size of it, I thought it was a special edition. The same goes for this one, which is Electra by Jennifer Saint. And this has some very pretty end papers. This book is honestly just very pretty and shiny in general. So the reason I thought this was a special edition was because I have several of the others that are sort of like, I have at least 1 or 2 others in like the special edition, but I guess I just ordered this one in standard. So this one is obviously going to follow the story of Electra. She was the daughter of Clytemnestra and Agamemnon, and I gotta say, their family life is real fucked up. I'm never really sure how much to say when it comes to Greek myths, because like, I suppose you could say it's sort of a prequel to part of the Trojan War. I feel like I don't talk about like Greek classics and Greek myth enough on this channel. It is something that I used to study, and I've always liked sort of like mainly Greek classics, Roman less so, but mainly Greek classics. And so I think this is another one of those books that's going to be taking a look at some of the women from sort of Greek history and Greek mythology, and just sort of maybe taking a more in-depth and, I'm guessing, sympathetic approach to its female characters who usually get sidelined, and I'm assuming it's just going to be adding a bit of a twist for modern sensibilities maybe, or a different perspective. They look very pretty and shiny together. Okay, so I'm now going to be opening these cute little paper bound books from the Broken Binding. I do really love how they package their books, like it is pretty sublime, although I have a slight bone to pick. I don't know if I've mentioned previously, I've definitely talked about this in a video before, but I don't know whether I cut it out. I ordered these books at the very start of September, I think 2020, and I've just had them sat in a box and I forgot to haul them for nearly 2 years. But I have a really good reason why I forgot to haul them, and it's because I'm so salty about it. So basically, I ordered these books thinking that I would have them in time for Halloween, because I ordered them in like the first week of September, and I was like, okay, these are definitely going to get to me. One of the books in here, I'm pretty sure it's this one, is like a print-on-demand book, and I feel like the website said that it could take up to 2 weeks to get it out. I did not get these fucking books. They didn't dispatch until the 20th of October. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. If there is a delay, contact your customers and just send the other books in the order out, because I should not have to wait like a month and a half, nearly 2 months to get these books. It put me into a massive reading slump, a huge reading slump, because I had all these plans and like little vlogs and things and like reading challenges that I thought, oh yeah, I'll get back into things at spooky season, like I'm doing now after being in a reading slump, and it put me in an even bigger reading slump because none of my Halloween books came. If I'd known it was going to take like, I don't know, 6 weeks instead of 2 weeks to get this fucking print-on-demand book that I don't even remember what it is, I just wouldn't have bought it. I don't normally rant, like, I do like this company. They make some fantastic, like, special editions, but oh my god. Anyway, so I was salty and I, like, chucked the box in a corner because it was way too late for that. And last year I was reading Empire of the Vampire, so, like, I wasn't going to read them then. So it's Halloween again and we're hauling them now. I didn't remember them in time to put them in my October TBR, but that's fine. Technically one of them is. You'll see what I mean. I'm gonna open this one, and you can probably see that it is Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I feel like I've accidentally hauled so much Grady Hendrix. I didn't mean to, I didn't intend to. I guess this is actually the first book that that I have hauled from him, even though I forgot it existed. So this, I think, is like slightly mixed media. There's like some, it's meant to look like an IKEA catalogue. People have described this to me as like spooky IKEA. It's like being in like a fun little dimension B. Like time and space don't work correctly in IKEA, and I wonder if that will have any play in this. So I wasn't really sure what to expect with this, and it's like a weird kind of format, and I don't know where I'm going to put this on my shelves. It feels like it should be on a coffee table. But yeah, I guess this is basically going to be people in an IKEA, and I don't know, is it going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be monsters or serial killers or weird, and I mean, it does look sort of paranormal sort of here. I don't know, is the store alive, or is there like an entity or like a monster in the store? I don't know. Maybe I could get to this depending on like what happens with my TBR. We'll see. I almost don't want to open this one because like I know what it is. And the thing is, I did not remember any of like these little brown packaged books existed because I was so salty and I just forgot they were there. I already know I'm giving this book away because now I accidentally have 2 copies of my best friend's exorcism. I guess I'm gonna give one away to a friend. I forgot I bought this when I bought Horror Store. And I forgot I bought either of them because it was like 2 years ago. You already had me talk about this, so like, do we even need to put it up? We'll put it up again just for the sake of it. Can I have a reputation for like the worst hauls on Booktube? This was my print-on-demand book, and it is Blood of Ravens by Jen McIntosh. I'm guessing this is an indie title then because it was print-on-demand. I like that the Broken Binding will do sort of like print-on-demand books like this, so I definitely like doing that. And you can see what drew me to this, because like it's called Blood of Ravens, and like the cover is like kind of goth, and I like it. I wasn't not going to buy this book. I would have not bought this book. I would have bought this book in a separate order if I knew it was going to take 6 freaking weeks plus. I'm just going to read the synopsis because I do not remember this from 2 years ago. I'm so sorry. So it says, it's been 100 years since the Shade King orchestrated the fall of the Graced. A century since he tipped the balance in his favour and brought those magically gifted warriors to their knees. But now a new power is rising, and even the faintest ember buried among ash and ruin can reignite the flames of war. And then it says, a mother with no memory, a general enslaved, an unwilling heir, and the 2 children who see it all. It seems like the kind of thing I would really like. I don't know if this is adult, I don't know if it's YA. Oh, this is not a book for children because look at the size of the font. Holy hell, this font is absolutely tiny. Yeah, so you can see why I bought this, you can see what drew me to it. I am very much trying not to let my experience with actually getting this book taint my opinion of it, but still, I'm still salty. Okay, I'm also actually salty about the last book in this haul, which it is actually the last book in this haul this time, I promise. I'm looking desperately around my room, but like, I promise this one is the last one. And it's actually a graphic novel, and it is Dio's Holy Diver. Although this is technically by Steve Niles, Scott Hampton, and Bill Sienkiewicz. So this is basically just graphic novel format of, I don't know whether it's just the song Holy Diver or whether it's like the whole album. I don't talk about music much on my channel. Like, I'm not a massive music nerd, but I do love music, and I do love especially metal. I love Dio. I managed to get to see Dio live. I'm so happy about that. But yeah, I didn't know this existed until recently because I realized that I wanted to own a lot of Dio's music in like physical format as opposed to just like having purchased like downloads. So I ended up stumbling on this and I was like, yes, I need that. The reason I'm salty is because when I bought this, there's like two covers that you'll see. One of them looks like it either has a dust jacket or a slipcase, and it's got like, it looks like this. It just looks so much better. It looks like it's maybe like either a dust jacket or a slipcase. I like this cover, and heads up, this is the cover that I bought. This is the cover that like a lot of shops will show. Nearly all the sellers on like Abe Books show this, Amazon shows this, everywhere shows this freaking cover. I need to let you know, this cover is like a deluxe exclusive edition, and you can only buy it if you buy it in like a set with like a vinyl and a bunch of unreleased artwork and other stuff, and it's like nearly £100, and all the paperback covers are just like this. But I'm mad because I was missold this book. If I'd known at the start and I had bought this willingly, knowing what I was going to get, but like, you can't. Oh, every time I buy a book and the seller sends me a different edition of the book than was advertised, I get a little bit closer to having like my full villain arc. But like, it's a cool thing to have, and I like it. And the dragon on the front looks fantastic. Like, I do love like the front cover. I don't think this will stand up on its own, so I'm just gonna put it down. But yeah, okay, hopefully this didn't make things run on like way too long. I didn't expect to have to add all this shit in. I'm sorry that this makes the video so freaking hectic. I don't want to start stacking these up and saving them in a whole other pile for a whole other haul that I do later when I acquire more books, because I'm trying to acquire fewer books. I've just got to get them out of the way now. So I'm now going to send you back to past me for the outro, because I also don't want to do that again. So peace out. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if there are any books here that you're particularly maybe like excited about. You know, let me know, is there anything here that I should maybe prioritize. Obviously some of these are already on my like TBR, and a couple I've already read, so anything else let me know. So with that said, I think that's everything from me. I should probably go and clean up my shelves, and yeah, maybe I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.